Hello and welcome to Election Brief. And coming up in today's edition, with barely 24 hours to the grand launch of the governing NDC's manifesto in the Bono Ahafo capital, Sunyani, preparations are underway to ensure a smooth rollout of the program. We'll get an update from our reporter at the venue for the program. Mounting tension in Esunafo South in the Bono Ahafo region after clash between NPP and NDC as each accused the other of instigating attacks there. We'll hear from the parties. Also, Eastern Regional NPP accuses regional minister and governing NDC officials there of intimidating its members. We'll hear from them. Details of all this and more coming up here on your Election Brief. And you're welcome to Election Brief. Once again, my name is Araba Kumsin. In our first story, the governing National Democratic Congress says it is expecting to host over 50,000 supporters and sympathizers at its 2016 manifesto launch on Saturday in the Bono Ahafo region, Sunyani. Since yesterday, preparations have been underway to ensure a successful program at the Sunyani Coronation Park for the thousands who will turn up there. Officials say they've already been in touch with the police, security agencies, and they've given the party the assurance of maximum security. Earlier this week, President John Mahama presented highlights of the manifesto, which he says will focus broadly on putting people first, accountable governance, and expanding infrastructure for job creation. Let's get on the line and speak to Precious Semivol for an update of preparations there. Good afternoon to you, Precious.
Good afternoon, Araba.
Describe the preparations ongoing right now as we speak. We earlier heard from the officials of the party there saying they're expecting about 50,000 people. Tell us what's going on in terms of preparations.
Yes, Araba, preparation is still ongoing, although this afternoon it has slowed down a bit. We understand that later in the evening it will continue on. What is left majorly is the erection of the podium that has already been started, just that it's not completed. That is the major thing left, and also probably decoration of the VIP stands where the VIPs will be seated for tomorrow's event. That is what is really happening, and some regional and national executives are also moving around, chit-chatting among themselves, and if and as and when they see something that they believe that should be changed, then they give that direction for that changes to be made. And as expected, people are also trying to take advantage of the situation and then make some money by selling party paraphernalia around the Coronation Park. You have a lot of them coming from far and near just to cash in on this particular event. Although they are saying that it's early days yet, they expect business to pick up hopefully tomorrow.
We already know that the president has given us highlights of what to expect, but give us a sense of what we should be expecting tomorrow as the launch, the details of this manifesto.
Well, Araba, the NDC, that is their communication deputy communication officer, Pedagano, when I spoke to him earlier this afternoon, he said that apart from the president giving highlights of the manifesto, tomorrow what we should expect is some sector ministers, giving us details of what the manifesto is all about with respect to their respective, sectors before the president himself will crown it all. But they will not go into details into what the ministers will be telling us, but says that the sector ministers will be telling us details of what will happen tomorrow.
And Precious, we do know that thousands of the party supporters will be, attending this particular launch. But tell us, how many of those are coming from the Bono Ahafo region itself, Sunyani?
Well, as I spoke to the NDC regional chairman, that is Mr. Etuahene, now he said that they are trying to, mobilize over, thousands of supporters, within the region. So how much more people coming from outside the region? But his preoccupation really is how to mobilize as much as possible. And he was mentioning figures over 10,000 at the Coronation Park, representing the Bono Ahafo region alone.
And in terms of security, we know the officials have been speaking to the security agencies there who have assured them of maximum security. But we also have heard of a planned demonstration tomorrow by some victims of the, DKB and Jasta and all those other companies. They are planning to hit the streets tomorrow. Tell us about how the security arrangements are like in terms of the demonstration that's being planned and tomorrow's event.
All right. In terms of security, I left the Coronation Park not too long ago, and at the time of leaving there, I counted over 30 heavily armed policemen positioned at vantage, areas at the Coronation Park. Clearly, a sign of their, visibility at the Coronation Park. Now, as I speak to you, I am at the regional police headquarters, and just as we are speaking, some, police reinforcements from Accra just arrived. I've just spotted about 2 armor cars and 2 water cannons and some other buses just entering the regional police headquarters here in Sunyani. And fortunately, I have the acting police PRO for the region, Sergeant Samson Sunday, here with us, and I'll be asking him 1 or 2 questions with respect to security arrangement. Now, thanks for joining us on Joy TV. How far is arrangement in terms of security?
Yes, as you all know, in terms of security, the police regional command is adequately prepared to host this event. And as I'm talking to you now, there are armed personnel who shall be deployed to day and night patrols within Sunyani municipality and districts in the region before, during, and after the launch. Deployment of adequate plainclothes personnel are also deployed to gather intelligence at the Coronation Park and Sunyani municipality. Then also deployment of adequate security to cover at the hotels where dignitaries will be launching. And then the lorry parks to be directed, the MTC people are directed, sent to the lorry parks to also be directing traffic at all intersections within the Sunyani municipality and the routes leading to Coronation Park. Personnel shall be deployed at the car parks also, like I was saying, to beef up the security so that they decongest the traffic in town.
Now, how many personnel have been deployed for tomorrow's event?
For security reasons, for the personnel, we are more than enough. You can even see, I'm talking to you, you can even see some cars, armor cars, and then water cannons, and then buses, busing people from Accra to come and have the security to Ghana so that they'll run up the event success.
Now, there was this planned demonstration by affected customers of DKM, God is Love, Justa, and the other, microfinance companies. Now, we understand and we know that the police managed to get a motion to stop the planned demonstration. Do you have measures in place should in case they still decide to take the street?
The point is that as law-abiding citizens, they came with a letter that they needed a permit to demonstrate. And when they brought it, the command also looked at it and said, this time is a wrong timing. It's not healthy for them to do the demonstration on Wednesday as the NDC manifesto launch is going on. So suggested to them that they should go and then reapply after the Saturday, that is tomorrow, to suggest another day for consideration. And then when they went, they never came back. We invited them to come and sit with the command. We called them on their phones. They refused to come. Because because of that, the police went to the court, sought for an injunction, and then looked for their leader, which is Maswell Mahama, and said they with it to stop the demonstration.
So you have, or you don't foresee, that when they plan to demonstrate, you have your men ready to contain them?
As for police, we are always ready. We always foresee ahead of us before anything, so we know what will happen. So because of that, we are also preparing adequately towards that thing. And we pray that they shouldn't try. Nothing will happen.
So that is acting regional police PRO Sergeant Samson Gbande speaking to us, assuring us that they have more than enough men ready for action and provide everybody enough security for tomorrow's manifesto launch for the NDC.
Many thanks, Precious Semeva, our correspondent in the Bono Ahafo region, with that update from Sunyani there. And be sure to stay tuned to this station because we'll be bringing you updates of that manifesto launch in Sunyani tomorrow. Now, speaking of the NDC, let's focus on that party's flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, who's charging Ghanaians to be more patriotic. He made this statement as he addressed graduating officers of the Ghana Military Academy. Clad in military gear, President Mahama seized the opportunity not only to demand patriotism from graduating officers, but from Ghanaians, urging all to remain temperate in utterances and be tolerant to opposing views as this year's elections draw near.
These graduations will also remind us of our patriotic duties to our dear nation, especially in this era when the threat of terrorism is so widespread and no country is safe from it. Terrorist attacks in our sister countries have brought the reality of this threat closer to our doorsteps. However, through information sharing and technical cooperation among the countries in West Africa, we can derive the necessary force multiplier that could ably defeat this threat. As a government, we're making all efforts to integrate our defense structures properly into the sub-regional cooperation framework, by which the needed synergy will be created to enhance our collective chances of success in the fight against terrorism. But as citizens, let us be reminded of our patriotic duties and the need for capable hands and sterling leadership at all levels to stay the course as the days of our nation's 2016 general elections approach. We must remain temperate in our utterances and be tolerant of opposing views. I appeal to all Ghanaians to cooperate with our security services and the institutions charged with ensuring the success of our elections. I wish to assure all Ghanaians, and indeed our foreign partners and well-wishers, that as a government we will maintain the highest credibility of our elections and continue to do everything possible to safeguard our democracy. In all these areas of concern, and indeed in all our efforts towards our national transformation and development agenda, we need the presence of our gallant soldiers in strength across the country.
So that's President Mahama there, and he's been campaigning in the Greater Accra region throughout this week. His campaign started off from the Weja-Gbawe constituency, and just yesterday he paid a courtesy call on chiefs in the region and headed off to Abossey-Okai. Take a look.
The NDC flag bearer had opted to pay a courtesy call on all Ga chiefs to kickstart his tour of the region. The acting chairman of the Ga Traditional Council, who received the president's entourage, called on him to undertake more developmental projects in Greater Accra.
We are not anticipating promises, but we must say that we have monitored his good performance over the period he has been in headship of the state, during which time the country has enjoyed absolute peace. However, we wish to have had more of the national cake during the period under review. Let me repeat. However, we wish to have had more of the national cake.
The president, in his response, said he will focus on waste management in the city if given a second term.
Objectives for the city of Accra that we have in the second term is to continue to improve on sanitation. We've been working with the various metropolitan assemblies to try and improve sanitation in their different areas. And as I speak, we're working with the AMA to restart the liquid waste treatment facility at the Mudo so that we stop the ungodly practice of continuing to pollute the sea at Lavender Hill with tons and tons of liquid waste every year. And I'm very glad to say that before the end of this year, we will call the Ghana Traditional Council, we will go to Lavender Hill, we will officially close it down, we will pour libation to the gods and apologize to them for polluting the sea for so many years.
The president then reacted to accusations of plagiarizing ideas of his main contender, Nana Akufo-Addo. President Mahama said it was impossible to copy ideas from a document that does not exist.
I don't think he understands plagiarism. Plagiarism is if you steal from a known document and put in another document. But there is no document called an MPP manifesto that we know about.
So Joseph Akable filed that report. We're taking a short break. Stay tuned. We have more for you when we return. Welcome back. Now, there appears to be some mounting tension in the Esunafo South district of the Bono Ahafo region after the governing NDC supporters there and the opposition MPP supporters clashed during the Electoral Commission's exercise, the voter transfer exercise there earlier this week. The NPP has accused the NDC of instigating the attack, and the NDC has confirmed it but says it's rather the NPP that instigated the attack. We can hear from the parties, the NDC's communications officer for the Bono Ahafo region, Neil Loko. Many thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
So tell us exactly what happened that sparked off this clash.
Thank you this afternoon for your time and your listeners. The fact of the matter is that from the EC introduced and the limited registration, and when we started the limited registration at Esunafo South, we had a complaint from the EC that some people have come around to disconnect their cables, which they normally use for their internet. So we rushed there. When we got there, the MPP was there, and we went there and we were asking the EC what actually is the problem, and the EC indicate that some people came around to disconnect their network wire. Okay, so we decided that we should let Bagon be Bagon, so that the EC should tell us how is it going to manage and then continue the process. So the EC took a place, and then we continued the next day. It happens again the next day, somebody went and cut the wire off again. So the local chairman of the NDC at Kukum went there, and then there was an argument between the NPP and the NDC. So the chairman took a very harsh, and then I wasn't there at the present, but what I heard that my chairman was telling them that he was accusing the MPP that they are the people who went there to disconnect the cables. Okay, so there was an argument between the NDC and the MPP. So the Omahini of Kukum decided to call us on the palace. When we got there, the MPP was there complaining that our chairman has cursed them that they are the people who went there to disconnect the wires. So, we asked the Omahine that whether it is true or not, if they claim they are not at fault, they didn't do it, why are they complaining that the chairman cursed them? So, indirectly, it is that the MPP went there to disconnect the wire. Okay, Bagon has already gone. So we just entered into the transfer 3 days ago. We were there when the EC started the process. About 15 people passed through the process. When we were there, the Deputy Secretary of the MPP came out and told us that he wants us to do something. And what is it? He said, oh, the people gathering here, to be honest with you, we can see the MPP and the NDC. And the NDC are very much than us. So we want to introduce something. Let us send our people 5-5, numbers 5-5 to the EC for the EC to make the transfer. Okay. And I went in and said, no, that is not the process. Though they are gathering here, the NDC and the MPP can see their supporters in. But they are Ghanaians. So we should allow them so that the EC will take them through the process.
Okay, Mr. Loco, as we speak, what measures have been put in place to avert violence and a recurrence of the violence that we witnessed?
That is why I'm going. So they quickly raised an objection to what I said. And we also didn't understand, so that we'll do that. And quickly, when we got out from the EC's office, we were outside when we hear some voices. When we got there, the NDC supporters were standing in front of the MPP party office. Let me be sincere here. The NDC supporters were in front of the MPP office at Kukum. So we were asking that what is the problem? I asked the NDC.
So that is Neil Loco. He speaks for the NDC in the Bono Ahafo region. Very quickly, that story that we headlined for you, the MPP in the Eastern region is accusing the NDC and particularly the regional minister of intimidating its members there. In a statement, the regional youth wing of the party said that the NDC in the region, led by the minister and the executives, have chosen the path of intimidation and abuse of power in their quest to usurp victory in the upcoming elections. The party also stated they are resolved to resist every attempt by the party and their collaborators to intimidate members of the NPP before, during, and after the December 7th polls. We'll bring you more on this in our subsequent bulletins. But for now, that's how we wrap up the show. This has been Election Brief. Thank you for staying with us throughout the week. My name is Araba Kumsin. Join us same time on Monday. Francis Aban brings us the Pulse next. Stay tuned.